And I just want to welcome everyone. Um, since this is the beginning of this session, I like to do a special invocation. And so let's just take a moment to feel our feet on the floor and kind of arrive. Sometimes when there's tech difficulty, it gets strenuous. So just allowing ourselves to fully arrive, maybe let your eyes close and just feel your weight and notice your breath. And in this course, we're opening ourselves to really look and see how to get underneath this thing we call stress and anxiety and really use it as an opportunity for awakening and for development. So we ask for all the help of all the seven directions. We welcome the spirits of the north, the spirits of our ancestors, and the spirit of the earth. May we be grounded, and may our ancestors be behind us in this evolutionary process that we're all in and we've been in for millions of years, hundreds of thousands of years of evolution with our ancestors. That's all in our bones, our blood, our breath. It's all right here supporting us. So we welcome the spirits of the north. We welcome the spirits of the east, the spirit of new beginning. This is a new beginning, the first light. And we're opening up something here where we're a community and each of us brings a light to that community. And if you can just imagine that that light is filling the space, because the spirit of the east is the spirit of space, the spirit of the wind. And we ask for that wind to be behind us as we go forward in this new way of looking at and holding the stressful and anxious moments and difficulties in our lives. And we welcome the spirits of the east. We welcome the spirits of the south, the spirit of the sun, the light, the golden rays of love and light that are part of our nature that we're born with. And we invite our soul light to join us in the larger light of the world. And that we're here in the south. The spirits are playfulness, love, just having a good time so that we can really enjoy ourselves and get to know each other deeply in this time, and that we have the full light of the sun. And we thank the spirits of the south, the spirits of the west. We also welcome and thank you as we go into the setting sun, into the darkness, and that this time together we can illuminate our shadow, the parts of us that keep us in habitual patterns, and the parts of us that shut down emotions and feelings in our life, that we really open to the watery world of the emotions, that we can not think our emotions, but feel our emotions as we go through this process together. We thank the spirits below and above. The vertical ascendance from the center of the earth to the edges of the cosmos is our spine. And we feel that as we sit here, coming through the tailbone and the feet up through the crown of the head, that light and dark balance that we find between the center of the earth and the edges of the cosmos. And we particularly thank the spirits within, all the hidden forces, the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the creepers, the crawlers, the winged, the finned ones and the winged ones, and all the invisible forces of the universe here behind us as we begin this journey of collectively, not individually, but collectively healing the wounds that are behind the feelings of anxiety and stress and overwhelm. And so it is we begin this as a community, starting on a journey, just beginning to know each other, and in many ways, just beginning to really know ourselves. And thank you so much, everyone, for participating in this and for joining us and being a part of this gathering today. So really, really wonderful to be with you, all of you. So, yeah. So, Taylor, do you want to just go over any technology things, just in case somebody needs some technology support, or Deborah, either one, to just let us know what we need to do if there's a breakdown? Taylor, are you there? Deborah, did I lose you both?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Um, so in terms of, well, I don't know, are we going to be doing raising hands? So
We can raise hands, or you can just wave,
yeah,
or you can put a chat, and Deborah will let us know. Yeah.
yeah, you can do that. And then,
And you raise your hand now. It's different. It's changed.
well,
You go
there's
to you go to reactions now instead of raise your
reaction.
hand.
Yeah. And for those though that don't have the updated Zoom, which has the reactions option, you can still go click on participants, and that opens up the chat window on the right. And there's a raise hand icon, so you can use that. And barring that, you can wave your physical hand. We'll see you. And
Great.
thanks everyone for being here.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Deborah. So just to go over a little logistics. So we have 5 actual class sessions and 2 coaching sessions. And I made the coaching sessions on one on a Saturday and one on a Sunday. Hopefully that works for y'all. And, as we do the practices, we'll go through 2 sessions and then we'll have a coaching session, and then we'll go through the 5th one and have another one. And we may, if it's necessary, add another one there. One of the things that's really important to me in working with a group, and this is great because it's one of the smallest, perhaps the smallest class I've had in many, many years, but it's great because it feels more safe and secure, and there's no one hidden here. It's really, really that way. And my intention is always to make it safe enough to feel unsafe. So what does that mean? That means that we're not going to grow if we don't tap into and feel those feelings of not feeling safe sometimes. But it's really important to me that you feel safe enough to at least lean into those times when it's kind of, ooh, this is a little edgy here. And you can always say, no, I don't want to go there. I just don't want to go there now. Maybe I'll do it privately with you, which is fine. A lot of people do private sessions with me. However, there's a acceleration in growth in groups, which is why I really love doing groups. Things, like we have an advanced course that's now in its second 6 months. I think we're 8 or 9 months into it. And, people would never miss one because it's just gotten to be such an incredibly tight group and supportive group. And every time someone gets some realization, everyone gets it. And it's my intention, even though we only have these 7 times together in this particular group, that we really have that kind of safety. And I do want to go over just a few. I'm going to quickly go through community agreements here, and I'm going to, I'll send them to you. I'm just going to read them quickly because we have a lot to cover today, and we started a little bit late. So first of all, that if you have any questions or anything like this, either write them in the chat or raise your hand and we'll address them. But I'm just going to quickly go through them. Some of you have heard this kind of thing before, either in my group or others, but to recognize that all the interactions are confidential and that group members agree, that we all agree that if we're speaking with someone outside the group, only share your personal experience, not about other people. And the second one is, if a group member has spoken about an issue, don't assume that you're welcome to explore or ask them. Ask permission first before asking them about what they were talking about. That's a big one because we all want to be helpers sometimes, and sometimes that's not what's wanted. To honor and hold sacred space and speak and listen to forward the action within the sacred space. In other words, acting as community rather than as individual, really acting from the place of I am community. And we'll talk more about that. When someone is speaking, refrain from using the chat, please. It's crazy making sometimes when people are are really listening and trying to really understand something, and there's chatting going on. Oh, hi, how was your lunch? So please don't do that. We're here to hold space for each other, not to fix anyone. So really what's important is you're listening, and full body listening, and we'll work with that. And I always say, if you have advice for someone, please take it and then let them discover what their own heart needs. Practicing self-authority, we're responsible for having our own needs met, but it's our responsibility to ask for help or to say if we feel unsafe or we need something. And integrity, as in to be whole and complete, we really honor our word as ourself, and we take full responsibility for any broken agreements without a lot of stories. So we just, yep, I did that. Okay, great. And I'm not going to do that again. So as soon as we know we haven't honored our word, then we step back in by communicating that. We practice mindfulness. Our intention is to notice when we're not present with the group and bring ourselves back. And we practice openness, authenticity, and honesty. So seeking the highest good for all. And finally, as a collective community, we're responsible for our own individual agreements as well as those of the collective. Now, that's a hard one. We're responsible for our own personal individual agreements as well as those of the collective. So those are the agreements. And I just want to see if anyone has a question about them, or yeah, but hi, Hazel and George. Are you there, George?
He's at work.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you're here. Okay. So any questions about the agreements and anything that I just talked about? I really should have set up that second computer. It's a little hard to see with each one. No comments in the chat? What? You don't see the dates for the weekend. Let's see. They were sent out, but
No, I haven't sent them out yet. You haven't given them to me, Michael.
Oh, I did. I sent the whole thing to you from the that whole piece. It was at the bottom. You probably didn't see them. It was a whole piece. We'll get them out. It's after the second. It's the Saturday after the second and the Sunday after the fifth session. I know that much. And they're in that document I sent when we did the Everbright. I think it's at the bottom of the Everbright document.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send them out this afternoon.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That gives you an idea. Okay. So.
And I ask a question.
Absolutely, Dot.
It's Dorothy or Dot. I'm kind of new to the Zoom. On the top, I don't have a place that says chat. It says participants.
Mm-hmm.
But if I wanted to chat, do I press more?
Well, the chat is actually on the bottom of the screen. There's a black band there.
She's on an iPad, Michael.
Oh, she's on an iPad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dorothy, try and press more and there may be a chat that comes up.
Oh, yes. And I should push that.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Or Dot, just if you want, just wave your hand too.
Okay.
It'll give you exercise. We'll get exercise that way, you know. All right, good. Any other questions or comments or thoughts? Okay, so let's dive in here a little bit. First of all, again, to create a container here, I'd like to have everybody just introduce yourself, no more than a minute or two, say your name, where you live, and just something about what called you to this course. So anybody who would like to go, just raise your hand. And I'm actually, while you're doing that, I'm listening, but I am going to open up the other computer because it's frustrating not to be able to see a full look at you. So who would like to go? Deborah, you want to monitor that?
It's Kyle. I'll start.
Thanks, Kyle.
My pleasure. I'm so happy to be here, Michael. My name's Kyle, he, him, his. I live in Vancouver, BC, Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh traditional territory. And I've been going through a big growth process. Some would say late in life, some would say maybe early, I don't know. But really it started in my mid to late 40s when I started meditating, and it led to some immense changes in my life. And I pursued that path, and Michael has helped me. I kind of use a number of modalities, including meditation, but Michael, who I met at a retreat up in Nelson, in your new hood, really kind of challenged me to think about my mental model for transformation, for personal transformation. And I think, Michael, you and I were in a conversation. I was saying, I've got all these anchors. You got to let the anchors go. Then I'm going to fly away.
I remember.
You turned to me and you said, geez, that sounds like a lot of work. So I've been in 2 of Michael's courses for a little while, and we've developed quite a beautiful friendship. And I find that as I'm in this kind of in-between zone of kind of moving from who I have been and finding my deeper self, and trying to get through the issues and trauma, all the things that I've learned about myself, all the things that I've taught myself about myself. I'm kind of toggling and moving through this. And so I find I've had a few difficult instances professionally where, you know, I'm making a transformation professionally as well as personally. And so there's stress involved in that as I kind of grow and learn to find myself. It's sometimes hard to find that consistently. That causes stress. So I'm really, really glad to be here. Glad to see familiar faces, and very happy to meet new ones.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
Looking forward to working with all of you.
And I don't know if you mentioned, but you're in Vancouver.
In
BC.
Vancouver, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let me ask Taylor one thing. Taylor, did we have a different login? Because I don't want to click on the Zoom login that didn't work.
I am honestly incredibly confused. What happened?
Okay. Because I'm in here now, but it says start the meeting, and the meeting's already started. So I don't know whether, okay, I'll just click on it and see what happens and see if it works. Otherwise, we'll just do it without the second video. We kind of got turned around here. No, it isn't working.
Interesting.
No.
If you
Okay.
use the email I sent you, it'll work.
Okay. Yeah, but it's not on that computer, so I can't do that. I don't want to take the time to do that anyway. Okay, who's next? Yes, Maria, please.
Maria, go. Oh, you wanted to, Claudia, the 2 Spaniards. Maria too. Maria first. Yes, so I'm Maria. I'm Spanish and I live in Vancouver in Kitsilano. I don't know where to even start. I think I'm going to start it by just saying that I met Michael through a friend that recommended me. She's in one of many, I don't know which of your courses, Michael, but I know she's been working with you for some time. And when I first met Michael, we had a very nice conversation, and he offered this, the opportunity to join to this course. And I thought, no, but the word overwhelm and stress and all of this, I don't have any of that. I'm really good, you know. Why would I even consider taking this? It just gives me anxiety to think about those words, and I'm like, I'm really flowing. I don't feel I need it at this point. And just funny how life happens that I think I'm completely in a state of burnout right now, where it's not overwhelmed, it's 3 times the word overwhelm on top of me, and I feel, and I'm a coach, a life coach, and I feel that I know what I have to do, but I'm in a state that I can't do it. And so it feels just that the time has really come in a perfect, the start of the course is coming at a time when I've been swimming kind of against the water, and I'm like, I know I have all these tools and all the anchors, as you were talking about, Carl, and I know how I'm supposed to live them, but I feel that I'm thinking about them all the time and I'm not really with what's going on. So I feel that the course, what I'm really hoping, and even you just said it at the start, Michael, is to be able to connect a little bit more with my body and be with what I'm really pushing down. I'm in a hyperachiever mode, like kind of running towards something, and I don't know what I'm running towards, and it's just like throwing more things. And I had a lot of hesitation joining on to the course because I was like, but that's throwing something else to my life that I don't even have the time to do my things. And I just feel that it's going to be the space that is going to let me just kind of be with what's really there. And I'm so grateful that this happened in this moment, and to be with all of you guys, which I feel a lot of sense of community. I'm missing that a lot. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here, Michael, and to meet you all.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it really is my intention that this course gives you more time, not take more time. And by centering in some of the principles that we're going to be working with and doing some of the practices we'll be working with, that it should expand the amount of available time, not take available time. So we'll talk more about that as we go. Okay, who's next? Claudia, I think.
Hi. Yeah, my name is Claudia. I'm from Italy, but I live in Powell River, BC, in the Tlahamin territory. And I am here because I did the Way of the Mystics course. That was the first one that I did with Michael. Also through the same friend that Maria.
Yeah.
Because she was saying it will really do you well, because I was having a really hard time. And I couldn't connect. I was living beside my body. And maybe sometimes I will, maybe. I still do. But with the tools that I got from the first course, I see that they helped me a lot. So I was like, okay, I'll do more, because it never ends, right?
No, I'm 75 and I'm just a babe myself, just learning.
So yeah, and it's nice to see familiar faces. It's nice to see you, Kyle, Daisha, and yeah, I find it easier sometimes when it's in a group, because even if I don't say anything that day, something always comes up that works for me as well. So that's really helpful.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Great. Okay, who's next? Daisha.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Daisha. Good to see you.
You too. So great to see you and be here with everyone. I'm Daisha, and I'm in Bend, Oregon right now. And I also took the Way of the Mystic class, so I would kind of like to piggyback on a lot of what Claudia said. And I'm learning to really be with my emotions too. And yeah, I just really feel like I'm at the beginning of that, and it's just great to be here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Daisha.
Thank you,
lovely. Beautiful. Don't be shy, or be shy and talk.
There, you've unmuted.
May I talk?
Yes,
Yeah.
I unmuted you. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Isolde. I live in Germany, at the Lake of Constance, and I did the course with Michael, the Way of the Mystics, and I realized I'm really stressed if I have to talk in groups, especially if it's in another language as mine. And Michael suggested I should do the stress course, and it was talking to me really. And in the beginning, he just had planned it to another time. It would have been in the night. And I said, no, I can't follow. And he changed the day as a time. And well, now I'm here, and I think I will have, yes, a lot of things just to look at.
Wonderful. Thank you, Claudia.
It's really a challenge. It's on one side, it's a challenge. On another side, I'm smiling to myself because it's really funny. Yes, I have just to look at this. I feel well. I'm happy to be here. And yeah, I just started to talk in a group.
Yay, you did. Glad you noticed that. Thank you, Isolde.
Thank you all.
Great. Who else?
I'm Dorothy Reese.
Mhm.
I live in New York City, and I have been a friend of Peg Stern for over 50 years. And even though we rarely have lived in the same place, and she has always been a spiritual for me. And we've seen each other grow and through different experiences. And she very much suggested that I take this course. And like you, Zelda, I'm not good at speaking in groups. I thought I would be the least talkative. So that's a kind of a new experience for me. And I'm only 79. I love to say that. I'm not 80, it's coming soon. And I think, between the pandemic happening to all of us, it's been a different time, and how to spend one's time. And I think experience life differently. And I've now in a difficult time, family illness, things like that. And I've not taken a course like this. And I've over the years done a little meditation, but I find it helpful. And I know Peg has found your classes very helpful, and she encouraged me to take it. So I'm here.
And you just did a beautiful, articulate job of expressing yourself to a group. I would call that already a breakthrough, yay?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Dot. It's so. Do you prefer Dorothy or Dot?
Probably Dorothy. My
Okay.
nephew put the Dot's iPhone on it a number of years ago,
Okay.
but I answer to both.
Okay, good. Okay, well, we want to go but what soothes you, not what says. That's, when people call me Mike, I go, that's not my name. And some people just insist on always calling you Mike, and it's okay. But it's like immediately when somebody says that, it's my first thought is that's not my name. I love that. Yeah, thanks. Fernanda, do you want to go?
Yep. So yes, as I told earlier, I'm living in Barcelona. I'm studying here. I'm from Mexico City originally, and I'm here in this course. It's the first time I take one of these workshops. I think I'm not into meditation, but I think I might have like closed mind in that sense, but I want to change that, and also be more connected with myself, and especially the anxiety parts. I think that many times I put a lot of weight on myself, and that it's my natural state. Like if I'm working, I'm anxious. If I'm not working or I'm having fun, I'm anxious about it. So I want to change that, and that's why I'm here. A friend recommended me this course, Michael. I mean, he's a big fan of yours, and I mean, I I trust him, so I think this is going to be like very very exciting. I'm happy to meet you all guys, and happy to have a first workshop with all of you.
Oh, beautiful. So good to have you. Was that Humam that
Yeah,
recommended?
exactly.
Yeah. I think I'm doing he has me doing a whole talk for the whole school at some point.
Yeah, he already sent a message this morning.
Great, great to have you. Okay, who's next? Heather, you want to go?
Sure. Hi, I'm Heather. I live in Southern California. I would like to say the sun is shining right now, but it's not. I'm here because I'm like Kyle, kind of going through a very personal and work transformation. And I'm a depth psychologist, and I would say I'm very left brain. So I've been doing this work logically, which doesn't work, right? So I'm challenging myself the last few months. I actually met with a shaman. I've had some profound healing. And as I want to go deeper for myself, I want to be able to work with my clients in a deeper way. So I'm sort of pushing myself out of my comfort zone to actually do the practices and not read about the practices, and to try to have a more profound shift. So that's why I'm here. I'm pushing myself in lots of different ways and seeing where it takes me. So yeah.
That's wonderful. Really beautiful, Heather. You know, you have a sign up behind Just Breathe, and we're going to work on breathing exercises today. But the difference between well, like you said, reading about things and actually having an embodied experience is completely another world. So I'm really glad you're here and want to support that with you. Thank you.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. Hazel.
Hello, my name is Hazel, and I have a
Yay!
19-month-old baby right here named Odemin.
Odemin, yeah.
And it means heartberry in Anishinaabe-Moan. And I'm calling from Squamish territory on the Sunshine Coast. I used to be neighbors with Michael, and sad to see him go, but happy to be here. He offered this course to my partner and I because we're new parents, and we've been navigating that, which is a delight and also very extreme, intense, I guess. It brings up all the stuff, you know, and that I don't want to pass on to him.
Yeah,
I'd like to work through some of the stuff so he only gets a little bit maybe. And I found that an hour and a half, 7 times was good, manageable. And I'm here.
I'm glad you're here. So glad.
And my partner George was supposed to be here too, but he got some work, so he's at work. And that's good too.
Very good.
That'll relieve some stress and anxiety and overwhelm.
Yeah. And anybody who's ever had a child knows that there are some stressful, overwhelming times in bringing up a child. So I'm so glad you're here. Yeah.
And I have a really old dog that I just let out he's barking his head off. So I might have to get up and down to help him sometimes.
Okay.
But I'm listening.
Give him a pet for me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Who have we not talked to? Corby, we haven't heard.
Lee.
Lee.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, great.
Hi. Hiya.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes. Now I can.
So, my name is Leila Hood, and I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm here. My husband of 30 years died very suddenly, right before COVID hit. So I've had like huge transformations all at once. And my family is on the other side of the country. So here I am in Las Vegas all by myself dealing with everything. And it's taken me way, 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 way out of my comfort zone. And I find that I am dealing with every trauma I have ever had. You know, it's like everything has come back all at one time to deal with. So this is the time to do it. So that's what I've been doing is I've been working on, you know, all these issues, taking tons and tons of classes. I'm in a whole lot of stress. And the thing is, I am learning to deal with trying to find safety in what seems to me to be an unsafe world. And so, because if I'm ever going to get out of this house and deal with the world, I've got to find a way to feel safe and do it. And that safety's got to come from me. You know, it can't come from anywhere else. So that's why I'm here. And that's why I take all these classes. And the other classes I'm taking, most of them are like lecture. And I find that I really need the feedback. I need community, you know, I need to be able to talk to other people and listen to myself through other people's ears and really know that I'm not alone. And so that's why I'm here. And I'm real happy to meet everybody. And so I guess that's what I have to say.
Mm. And Lee and everyone, I just want to say that when those trauma responses come up, that basically means you're ready to deal with them, you know? Otherwise they stay suppressed. So that's one of the issues that challenges people in meditation. You make more space, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And those things come up, but they come up because they're ready to be dealt with and seen and loved. And we'll talk more about that as we go, but I just wanted to add that. Yeah. Great. Okay, let's see. Corby.
All right. I'm sorry to hear for your loss, obviously. I am Corby Clark. I live in Atascadero, California, which is about halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco. Fellow depth psychologist, apparently. I was working on my doctorate in depth psychology at Pacifica when I kind of ran out of money. So Michael's far more affordable.
Yes.
At the same time I started Pacifica, I did shamanic training through the Foundation of Shamanic Studies with Michael Harner, where he uses a drum in sonic driving. So I have a couple of drums and I meditate using that. But when I did Michael's meditation through that 30-day challenge, it embodied the meditations as opposed to the book learning. So that is why I'm here, and I'm excited to be here and to share with you folks.
Thank you.
And I also hate speaking publicly like this, so I don't think you'll be the least vocal of the group.
Thanks, Corby. Yeah, Michael made a great contribution to shamanism, and you know, may he rest in peace. He really did bring so much by bringing core shamanism in the in the Western world together. So glad you had that opportunity to study with him, and probably with Sandy too, I suspect.
Yes.
Yeah, a dear friend of mine. And Deborah.
All right. Hi. Well, I have been on a spiritual path all my life. All things spiritual, meditative, shamanic. And I think it was a number of years ago, I came across Michael's work, and I think it was via his radio shows initially, because he interviews some really wonderful people, very leading edge people in various fields. And then one thing led to another, and I think I began joining the New Moon calls. And yeah, it was just a wonderful experience of being in community. So one thing led to another, and I was interested and wanted to be more of an integral part of Well of Light. So we found where my skills, fit in with what I could contribute to being a part of the Well of Light community. And yeah, it's a joy and pleasure to be here and be a part of the Well of Light team now.
Yeah.
So yeah, welcome everyone, because it is truly a community, and I'm very confident that you'll find that through progressing through this course. So
Yeah.
it's great to be here with you all.
And it's such a joy to have you here, Deborah. And I just love how you have my back, and both you and Taylor and the team is just, I can't tell you how this wouldn't happen without you guys. So thank you so much. Did I get everybody? I don't have a second screen right now, so I'm not sure if I missed anybody. Did I? I think we got everybody. Hey, anybody else? No. Okay, well, let's jump in. I may need to go over a little bit. I hope that's not an issue for you guys. But there's a lot I'd like to cover, and I don't want to get too far behind because there's a lot in every class that I do. But you know, I'm going to skip over some things that are just basic that I've mentioned as we were going. You know, this is a very embodied course. We're going to learn basic grounding, breathing, meditation practices, simple things you can do. And when I look at stress, it's not about something to get rid of, and I'll say more of that. It's really a road sign or a portal for expanding our own awareness and our own capacity, which I'm going to talk about. And so this is a very embodied course. I invite you to connect with people and listen to people with your body. And some of you may not even have a clue of what that means. I know there was a time that I would have thought, sure, listen with my body, but I was completely in my head, thinking I was listening with my body. Because we are a fairly disembodied culture, as well as difficulty in our dealing with our emotions, actually feeling our emotions in our body rather than in our head. So to get the most out of this course, I invite you to do at least 20 minutes a day of meditation. I know that's hard for some people, but you might want to break it up into 2 times 10 minutes or something. Some of you already have a practice, but really to create that stillness and spaciousness, I'll talk more about that, is really important. And I'm available, you know, when I'm in a class. I'm here for you, so don't hesitate to ask for coaching, and we'll have coaching sessions. I would take some time to have a clear intention about what you want and what you want to get out of this, and maybe jot some things down now in this first session or after the first session, so that you'll have some kind of measurement at the end to see, you know, what you accomplished. And also for the coaching labs, send your questions to support@welloflight.com, and then Taylor will compile them and give them to me. So I will address them in the coaching session. So it's really nice to have you be active in this. You know, therapists make very clear distinctions about stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. And so when they talk about stress, they're talking about mental and physical symptoms like irritability, anger, fear, muscle pain, trouble digesting, trouble teaching, sleeping, and then anxiety they usually address as more ongoing worry, like I'm worried all the time about money, or I'm always fearful of something. And then overwhelm is kind of being tormented by those emotions. And, you know, that's all nice to have those distinctions, but they're all up in the helicopter up here, like that. And it's not really embodied. So I will, for this course, call them all stress. And what is stress, though? Because some of you have heard me in master classes talk about this before. We use this word like we actually, like, I'm communicating something, but it's actually a phantom that hides what's really going on. When we talk about, if you look at the dictionary, it says that stress is a condition of overwhelm caused by outer circumstances. Well, I have no access to it if it's caused by outer circumstances, right? But that's actually how people see stress. But stress, when I say I'm stressed, I'm saying something's too much. Something's too much right now. And so what's too much? And I distinguish stress as our personal or professional capacity is inadequate to meet the challenges that are before me right now. So this says that stress is not an issue around outside circumstances, that stress is about how I meet the world in my body and how much space I have to allow the world to move through me. So I often say, life doesn't happen to you, which is kind of a victim stance, my boss yelled at me, I'm so stressed, or, the baby's crying, I'm so stressed. And it stops like I'm a victim of that rather than life moving through me, which is I feel the feelings of anxiety, of fear. Those are the things that we're really talking about. They move through me. And so what we're doing in increasing the capacity is making more space to be able to hold the world and what's arising in the world. So this too muchness that we live in, there's too much information, too much news, too much fear, too much war, too many emails, too much pain, too much complexity. Life is too complicated. And then that is kind of like a weight that we carry. And what we do from the very beginning, we have a very intelligent nervous system. So our nervous system, when something is too much from the very beginning, we're trained that when it's too much, our nervous system goes into action and it pushes down that whatever's happening at the time. It suppresses it. And what we have in our body, and we'll talk a lot more about this and work with this, is frozen past. Frozen past is trauma. And we all live in a sea of trauma. And not only do we live in a sea of trauma, but we have ancestral trauma going back for hundreds of thousands of years, because our ancestors for hundreds of thousands of years have dealt with war, have dealt with famine, have dealt with plagues, burning at the stake, climate change, everything that's happening now, maybe not atomic weapons and a few things like that, but everything that's happening, our ancestors already have dealt with it. So we have that resilience in our body. It's just how do we tap into that resilience? And consciousness, awareness is the healing aspect of it. So the issue is, there's a story about a Zen master from the 18th century, a Japanese Zen master who lived in the Meiji area, and he was a teacher, and he had a visit from a university professor from England or something, and the professor came and he wanted to know about Zen. I want to know about what is Zen. And so the Nanin was his name, invited him to tea and said, "No, well, come have some tea." So the tea person brought the tea in, and he took the professor's cup and he started pouring, and pretty soon the cup was full, and he kept pouring, and then the cup was overflowing on the floor. And the professor said, stop, can't you see? The cup is full, it's overfull. No more is going to go in there. And then turned to him and said, yes, like the cup, you too are too full of your own opinions, concerns, and speculations. And first you have to empty your cup. So a lot about this course is emptying our cup. And that means being able to deal with all the frozen parts that we have inside of us, those suppressed, dissociated parts that when we were very young, something came up and it was too much. And then we, our very intelligent nervous system, and this is what's right about us, not what's wrong. These suppressed parts are our nervous system protecting us, because some of the things we've had to deal with were so overwhelming. And some of you know my history with a lot of early trauma. I'm still like releasing things from my early childhood, and I've done a lot of work, and being able to meet those difficulties that we've had. We all have these difficulties. So what we're going to be working here with is to allow ourselves to meditate or pay attention to our body or take time to expand our capacity to hold. And when we do that, these frozen parts will pop up. It's like if I hold a beach ball down in the water, that takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot of energy to keep it down. And then when another thing comes up and say it's another beach ball, then I hold that down. And pretty soon I have all these beach balls I'm holding down. It takes an enormous amount of energy to hold them down, to push them down in the first place and to hold them down. So when we get still and when we get quiet, those beach balls in the form of experiences start popping up. And that's why sometimes people have trouble with meditation, because when it's like, teddy bears and rainbows and unicorns, and everything's groovy. And then all of a sudden, some ugly thing from the past comes up, and we go, oh, no, I don't want that. And we go, when I started meditating, it was so nice. I was calm and still. And now all this stuff's coming up. Well, yeah, because you made space for that to come up, to be witnessed. Those of you who've done the way of the mystic, we presence that. Instead of pushing it away, we zoom in on it and we witness it. And we'll talk more about that. And then we embrace it and we love that part of us, Yesterday, I had a session with someone that I work with, one of my teachers and coaches. And we were talking about early abuse I had. And, my mother would try to kill me a lot and put pillow over my face. And it was a lot of stuff. I won't go into any details, and afterwards it was all this stuff came up in this session. And I said, I need to lay down and do, a journey. And so I lay down. Well, the place I'm staying has a nursery above me. How perfect is this? And it was nap time, and there was a baby that was screaming its lungs out for like 40 minutes. And what I did is I got to tap into that younger Mickey, my younger name, and actually use that screaming and crying, which was very upsetting, to embrace that part of me that had that in me. And that's how, you can use everything for awakening. And trauma and stress and anxiety and overwhelm, those are the very things that we need to embrace and love in order to, and I'll say more about that later, but in order to create more space to hold the world, to be connected to each other in the world. Because trauma, I said for years, those of you who did courses with me years ago, before I was so into trauma, since I started studying with Thomas Hubel 3 years ago, but I used to talk about that the source of all suffering in life is separation. And I still say that, but the source of separation is trauma. We swim in a sea of trauma. our own trauma, our ancestral, our familial, our cultural trauma. Even if you think you didn't have any trauma, believe me, you did at one part of your long existence. It's there. And some of it is ancestral. I've been dealing with some, almost 6 generations back ancestral trauma from my own people. So, so when I say capacity, what do I mean? I mean the mental, physical, and emotional and relational intimacy that I have. How related am I to those things? When I say I or me or my or our, what I'm describing is my ego, my story, my narrative. And my narrative only has one purpose. And some of you know that, but think about that. What would be the purpose of an ego, of a narrative? The only purpose is its own survival. So our story is constantly trying to survive. And the minute we do work like this, it brings up, no. This is where you get spiritual bypass. This is where you get denial. This is where you suppress shadow work. But it's really, our ego is protecting our story, our beliefs about ourself, our critic, all of that is contained inside our story. So when we do this work, we're looking for transcendence, to go beyond that story, to actually begin to explore and become mindful about and become a witness to these frozen, pushed down parts, which create a great amount of stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. And allows us to also to see and experience our habitual behavior. And we wonder, how come I can't, how come I can't lose weight? How come I can't stop smoking? How come I always, shut down when I'm in a group? All of these things are part of that essential essence that we have lost. What do I mean by essence? So when I'm talking about essence, I'm talking about your soul. I'm talking about what you're born into, what you came here for. I'm a firm believer in essential goodness, not original sin. And anybody, if Hazel, if you hold your baby up, do you look at that baby and think, oh, I better be careful, it's going to pull a gun on me or rob me or hurt me? No, we're born with essential goodness. All of this other stuff is what we've put on top of it. And so stress is a portal for growth, for awakening, and it totally shifts the playing field when we get stressed, or when we have difficult situations. That's another way to say it. Or we have challenges, or that things come up that we would rather not. But all of those things are an opportunity to see them as an access to expanded capacity, not changing anything, but embracing the patterns from the past so that they become integrated and not frozen. So I know this may bring up a lot of questions, and that's great. We'll deal with the questions. Just a minute. One more piece I wanted to put in there, and that's what I call I didn't call it that. In Gestalt, we have a thing called the paradoxical theory of change, which says that change occurs when we're being what we are, not when we try to be something other than what we are. So that's being authentic, basically. So we don't have change, we don't have transformation by coercion, by persuasion, by effort, by struggle, by fixing, by, I'm gonna get rid of this thing. Right, Kyle? I'm gonna get rid of this thing. I'm gonna anchor this thing. We're not going, the more we do that. But when we abandon just for a moment what we would like to be or what we feel we should be, the conditions for real change just occur naturally. They become available. Authenticity becomes available. So the opportunity for real change and real awakening happens. So we have the possibility of deep systemic, culture, things that we say, oh, that's because my father was that way, or my mother, or that's always been that way in our family. Those things that we take as givens, they'll come up when you can, and when you can embrace them, then and allow them to be there and recognize them, because we're always trying to be somewhere where we're not. So often it's like I'm chasing something. If you're actually in stillness, which is outside of time, if you're chasing something, then you're always saying that something's not. And you're always in the moment. So anytime you're chasing after something or trying to change something in that way, you're always reaffirming the existence of the thing you want to change. So I've said a bunch of things here. Let's stop for questions or comments, or yeah, but, or anything else that comes up. Anyone have anything they want to question or say there? Are you all instant learners? No. Someone must have a question. No? Does it all land for you? Yeah? Okay. All right. Well, then let's move on, because there's a lot more to do here. Okay.
Michael, I just want to say
Yeah.
how exciting it is to hear that stress could be a portal.
Yes. Isn't it exciting? It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great shift.
Yeah. And that nothing is wrong. Nothing is broken. There's nothing to fix about you. Really, really. All there is the potential for unlimited growth. We were born that way.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime you find yourself trying to be different than you are, explore the trying and what's behind that, because underneath that is some decision, something about trauma that's really, really important to know. It isn't the trauma that causes you stress, that causes you discomfort, that causes you problems in life. It is not the trauma. It's the story that you make up about the trauma. It's not the trauma. So, I won't go into adaptive theory. Some of you have already read and know about that. But in the real world, I'm going to give two examples. So let's say that I'm going to switch genders back and forth because I don't like it being gender bound. So let's say that the mom is with the baby and the baby's there, and the dog barks, and the dog and the baby comes running back, because how we develop is we go out a little bit till it's safe, and then something happens and we come back for nurturing and love, and then we go out a little further and then we come back, so the dog barks and the baby comes back. Now mom has got two other kids. She's just brought the groceries home. Things are falling out of the bag, and the baby says, mommy, I'm scared. And mommy says, no, don't bother me now. I got all this stuff to do, honey. Just stay there. But I'm scared, mommy. I'm scared. And she gets upset and she says, there's nothing to be scared about. Just give me a minute. Natural thing, right? Yeah, but the baby that was scared says, ooh, it's not okay to be scared. But I'm scared. So something's wrong. Something's wrong with me, because nothing can be wrong from my caregiver, especially when there's no separation in the beginning. So the baby makes up a story. I'm bad. And I shouldn't be scared, but I am. And then that leads to other stories. And that becomes our narrative. Now, think of it the other way. If the same thing, and daddy's there with baby, and the baby's and he's had a hard day too, but the baby is, dog barks, the baby's, daddy, daddy, I'm scared, I'm scared. And he says, oh, sweetheart, you're scared? Come here, sit on my lap. You know what? Daddy gets scared sometimes too, and it's okay to be scared. I've been scared many times, and it's okay. It's good that you can feel you're being scared, and then he hugs her and gives her some, maybe says a few things and says, you're so perfect, you're so great, in her ear. And then baby goes off, I'm perfect, I'm great, I'm okay, it's okay to be scared. I think I'll go bark at the dog, because there's this sense of confidence. Now, that's such a little thing, but you can see how it develops our identity. And those are the things that develop the different personality types, the different identities. So we have to go back to those places where mom didn't have time with the kids and everything that was going on to say it's okay to be scared, and she was scared. And that's just a simple explanation, but think about the issues around a divorce or abuse or things like that some of you I know have come up. It isn't the thing that happens, it's the story about what happened. And that's so important. If you've been abused or you've seen abuse in any way, it sounds like, oh, no, but you don't know what happened to me. Well, I don't know what happened to you, but I had enough happen to me to be able to tell you you can move through that and expand your sense of self. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, dear. I torn between a meditation. I'll tell you what, I want to give you some exercises, and I'll do a short meditation at the end, but I really want to get this part important. And Heather had it up on her wall, just breathe. So, breath. The most important tool that you have is your breath. It's been with you since birth. It's a recording of everything that's ever happened, and it'll be with you the last breath and on, who knows after that. But attending to the breath is crucial to dealing with these emotional issues, these issues of things that come up from the past. Altering your breath pattern can affect both the sympathetic, the fight or flight response in the nervous system, or the parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest part of the nervous system. That when we inhale, that supports the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight. So, ready? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm ready. And our exhale enhances our parasympathetic nervous system. So the rest and digest, the relax, the calm down. So our exhale and our inhale are how we begin to regulate overwhelming situations. The other part that's important to know is that heart rate variability. Anybody know about heart rate variability? It's really important to understand heart rate variability. So it's related to our ability to tolerate or regulate our stress in our life. The lower variability is related to stress and anxiety. And when we increase the heart rate variability with diaphragmatic breathing, right? So the belly goes out on the in-breath and then goes in on the out-breath. That. So we're building up our heart rate variability by conscious breathing with the diaphragm and expanding and contracting in-breath and out-breath. And that allows us to counter anxiety or stress, particularly if you elongate the out breath. You'll often hear me, those of you who've done meditation with me, often I say, elongate the out breath. And that is what allows us to slow down the nervous system and relax And if you're feeling tired or foggy, and I'm going to give you some exercises here, then you can increase your in breath. So I want to give you 4 breaths. The first one is just what I call the pause. Okay. Anytime you feel stress, stand up, sit down, but have your feet on the floor and just take 3 deep breaths, really long, deep breaths. Just do it with me right now. 3 long, deep breaths. And what's that take? A few seconds. Okay. So that's the pause is the go-to. When it's just too much, go to the pause. Now, I want to teach you 3 different other breaths. They're a little longer, but the same kind of thing. So when you're feeling ungrounded or out of balance, and I will put these in the Thinkific site. You can always listen to the meditations and the classes, and there'll be information in the Thinkific site. So you just go back to the site and sign in, and each session will be there within 48 hours or less after we do the class. So balanced breath. So we're going to take just to calm, to bring calm and stillness to the mind. We start out with taking a couple long deep breaths like we just did. And then I invite you to inhale to a count of 4. So inhale, pause, then exhale at 4. Pause, inhale. So just try that. Nice. Yeah. Now I want you to extend that and inhale for 4, pause for 4, exhale for 4, and pause for 4, and just 4, 4, 4, you know. So 4 in, 4 pause, 4 release, 4 pause, 4 inhale, 4 pause, 4 exhale. And as you do that breath, and you do it for several minutes, you'll notice that you become more grounded, more in your body, more in your weight. And just do it for several minutes and then notice what you're aware of afterwards. So that's a balancing breath. That's to allow ourselves to get grounded and feel balanced when we're out of sync. Now, the second one, or third one, I guess, is a relaxing breath. So when you're feeling anxious or nervous or really stimulated, then start again with a couple long deep breaths. And notice the diaphragm goes out on the in breath and in on the out breath. And now I want you to start an in breath count of 4 and a pause, and then out breath of 6. So you go 4 count in, pause, and 6 count out breath. Pause, 4 count in breath. Pause, 6 count out breath. Pause, 4 count in breath. Pause and switch to 8 count out breath. pause, 4 count in breath, pause, 8 count out breath, pause. And just as you do that, just notice how there's a calmness, there's a relaxation that happens, brings you down, centers you. I'm just doing really short examples of this, but if we did this for a longer time, you would really, I hope you can people feel the relaxation when you do that elongated out breath? Yeah, it's really palpable. Okay, the last of the breaths that I want to talk about is the energizing breath, the invigorating breath. So this is a great breath when you want more energy or to feel more alert. I use this when I drive. Driving here from Vancouver or from the coast is like 10 hours. So I use this breath often to stay awake and alert. And you start with a deep exhale and inhale, exhale. And now take a long inhale, and then you're going to just push the air out at the end. So I'm inhaling, and then I'm blowing out the air. And your belly will go out. Okay, diaphragmatic breathing when you breathe in. So your belly goes out. See my big belly here. And then on the out breath, so I don't know. So blow that air out. Try that now. Breathing in. And you see how that kind of wakes you up and makes you more alert? If you do it too much, you'll hyperventilate. So just do it as far as, did that happen to you, Claudia? Yeah, I thought so. So, but it's really great when you're tired and you need some energy, it's way better than coffee. So try that. Okay. Any questions or anything that people have about what we talked about so far?
Isolda has her hand raised.
Yeah, Isolda. Hi.
I have a question. If we exhale, do we have our mouth shut or open? Is there a difference?
Yeah. No, on that last one, you breathe through your nose, but you blow out with your mouth.
Yeah.
So when you breathe in, you're breathing in through your nostrils. Okay. And it's really important that you're doing diaphragmatic breathing, that pushes out and then it comes in fast. So these are variations. Many of you who've done yoga do variations of this, but this is kind of the essence of what that breathing thing is about. And we'll do more work, but it's 28 after. Can we go another 10 minutes so I can do a meditation with you? Is there anybody that can't stay another 10 minutes? Is that okay? Okay, good.
Well, I have to leave, but I will look at the recording.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. I know. I'll try not to go over, but we wanted to introduce.
Oh, it's not your fault. My meetings are all over the place. It's always different. So.
Okay. We'll see you next week, if not before.
Bye.
Thanks, Claudia. Okay. So, all right. So everyone, let's just take a nice inhale. Let our eyes go closed. And really pay attention to the breath. Notice how the breath comes in. Are you getting a lot of air? Full breath, slim breath? Can you feel the warmth or the coldness in your nostril as you breathe in? Really focusing on our breath. And notice how your breath affects your body. How does your breath affect your head? Just notice. And use your attention to just take the breath right to the head. Just give a couple breaths. Notice if there's any tightness in the jaw or around the eyes, and just relax that. And kind of feel how the out breath just relaxes the face. How does the breath affect your shoulders? Use the breath to really explore the body. And how does it affect your chest, your lungs? So we're just using the breath to explore the body. And the breath is movement, and movement is energy. Energy is flowing. So move down to the hips and the pelvic floor. Bring your awareness there with your breath. Your thighs and hamstrings. And notice when you pay attention and you breathe, you can go into your body. You can both feel your body, get a felt sense. But as you practice, you can even see into your body. It might be blurry at first. If we go down to the lower leg and the feet, just practice feeling what's there, the sensations. Perhaps there's some tingling or some pain, maybe some numbness. So where the breath goes, the energy flows. So you take the breath down to the feet. And then you just again scan the body and notice places that are alive and moving, places where there might be pain, places where there's numbness. And numbness is not nothing. Numbness is information that you need to know. Oh, I'm numb there. Notice any areas of tension. Bring your breath and your awareness to that. Notice how you can still the mind with the breath. And then just notice if there's any emotions present in your body. See if you can get the fragrance of emotions. Where are they located? Joy, compassion, love, fear, anxiety, anger, guilt, shame. Maybe you feel one or several of those. See if you can locate them in your body. And notice if you can't quite feel your emotions in your body. Maybe you feel them in your mind, but see if you can actually find a corresponding place in the body. Feel your emotions in your lungs, your stomach, your kidney, spleen, liver. You can actually see into the body with practice. And you can certainly feel, felt sense of what's happening. Feel the movement of energy, the vertical and the horizontal. And notice if there's some emotions or feelings you want to push away. You just notice that. Or if there's somewhere else you're thinking about you'd like to get, maybe a deeper meditation or somewhere other than where you are right now. And notice how you feel in sense of relationship. How related do you feel to your body, to your emotions, to your thoughts? Can you feel your thoughts in your body? Or do you have a helicopter mind just kind of floating around? How related are you to the people in this group? Your sense of being in relationship. The breath connects us all. And then just coming back into the body with the breath. And taking a few more deep breaths together. Feeling a little bit of stillness. Feeling in your body. Feet on the floor. Feeling your weight. And as you're ready, just softly bring yourself back. Take your time. Yeah. All right. Any last minute comments before we close today? Thank you so much for being here. We'll continue to deepen what we opened today. If you have any requests or questions or anything, just send us an email. And we'll get back to you. All right. If you want to unmute and say goodbye, everybody can just unmute and say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everyone. Bye.
Nice to
See you
meet
next
you.
week.
Have a
Blessings.
wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.